all
It
just
is.
dance off
Oh.
screen when that
We do.
happens.
I just love
good
that music. I love that music.
It is fun. Well, good evening. We are recording on Sunday since tomorrow is a holiday, and we gave Christy the night off, so take her today.
I teach on Monday nights, so
teach
I
on
don't really have a
Monday.
night on.
Yeah,
Don't have
what
a night off.
you're teaching almost every night now.
No.
Okay.
But
All right.
I am teaching 4 classes a week, so I've
4
got
classes
2
a
on
week.
Mondays.
You
Yeah.
go, girl.
2 on Mondays. Yes. So, welcome to this week's Groomers Cut. We are here this evening to discuss all the Barkleigh nominations that are in our family. So, we will let's start with first. We've got the show coming up. Hershey is before Dallas.
Hershey
It's
is
September. It's
before
coming
Dallas.
up.
Hershey,
It's weekend after next. It's September
Okay, so
It's
it's
the
20th through the 18th.
18th.
Yes.
Okay, so the 20th through the 18th, and if you haven't registered yet, there's still plenty of time, I'm sure. Everyone here, but me, will be speaking at Barkleigh at Groom Expo, right? All of
Yes.
you are.
Yeah.
Chris has classes.
Yep.
Yeah, so everyone
Mhm.
is. So you guys will all be there for the nomination award dinner on Saturday night.
Mhm.
What? Go.
I anybody have an extra ticket to the awards banquet for a nominee? I
don't-
I've
did.
heard that from a lot of people that they didn't end up getting a ticket for the awards banquet. But you can still go to the awards stuff, but
Yeah.
you won't be
You
able
just
to.
can't
Have
eat.
dinner.
Yeah, you can still attend. You just can't eat. But
I
You know,
offered mine to
okay.
Helen Schaefer. I don't know if she's going to take me up on it, but if you don't have a ticket and she doesn't want it, you're next on my list. Sound good?
Oh, okay. Oh, well,
And
And then I will sit
will
back
ask,
and
I will ask my young one, Amanda, my young groomer. My daughter is going to come with me, who's a groomer, and a recent honors college graduate.
oh,
But if she, doesn't care about the meal and I feed her somewhere else, and she just wants to come to see the awards, maybe we can give you that meal. So we'll work it out.
we'll figure it out. I emailed Todd. I'm like, I called Angie. Angie and I were talking at like midnight. I'm like, Panic at the Disco.
I can't believe the hotel room problem they are having this year.
What?
Every hotel room within 10 miles is booked up solid. The lodge itself, I always call the day I find out for sure that I'm speaking. I call the hotel to make a reservation. By the time I called, not only was the Barkleigh block of rooms for the show sold out, the entire hotel was sold out. And then I started calling the other Hershey hotels, and half of those were sold out, and the other half were charging $600 a night for their rooms. So
What's going on there? That's
the lady at the hotel at the Hershey Chocolate Lodge place said, I always call it the Chocolate Lodge because it's wonderfully chocolate. But the lady at the lodge said, your show, that Groom Expo, that's getting really big every year. It's just getting so big.
Wow.
I think that because of the pandemic, people have just been holding back and going, and everybody wants to go. And I think it's going to be great. And every seminar is going to be filled, and it's going to be wonderful. But the trade show floor is kind of spread out in multiple rooms. I can sense it being somewhat crowded.
Yeah. Well, so let's backtrack a little bit for anybody who's just tuning in and maybe they're a newer groomer. But the Groom Expo Hershey is one of the really big grooming shows. There is an award night, and 3 instructors from Whole Pet Grooming Academy have been nominated for awards. And that would be the amazing Chris Anthony, the amazing Angie Coates, and the amazing Jennifer Bishop Jenkins. And can I just start off by saying we're so proud of you guys. It is so awesome that you guys were nominated to be recognized in our industry and for the things that you do in our industry. So for anybody who doesn't know what that's all about and like, wait, what? Where is this? But that there's still time to sign up. You can go to Hershey, PA, and be there for the conference. And many of us really like that one. I try to get to that one every year. It's a really fun conference, but
stay an extra day and take the chocolate history tour of the town because it's awesome.
Oh,
I have a friend who runs that tour.
Go to Chocolate World, ride the little ride, do all of that stuff. It's so cool.
Yeah. So let's start off with, what did you guys get nominated for? Who wants to start? Jennifer, what were you nominated for?
So first, I'm just going to start off by echoing what you just said. I just want to say I want to give Dara some credit here because she's Whole Pet Academy, the brains and the genius behind Whole Pet Academy. That you chose your faculty for your school so well that you've got, you really do have top people working for you, and I think it speaks well to that you didn't choose people who were already award winners. We're just now being nominated. Although I was nominated. Have either of you been nominated before? Chris, have you? Yes, I was going to say you're a Barkleigh winner previously for your podcast, Chris.
Yes. Nominated in 2020 and 2021 for the Traveling Groomers podcast, and I'm pleased and impressed because we just started in 2019. But go ahead and talk later.
Yeah, no, I mean, and I was Barkleigh Honors nominated 3 years ago for Up and Coming Speaker of the Year, but didn't win. But I, as they say, it's an honor to be nominated because it really is. It really is an honor to be nominated. And so I just think it's great, Dara, that your commitment to education, that you clearly have an eye to bring people that are good teachers, that are good leaders in the industry, that know a lot of stuff. And so I think that's really, it speaks well of the school. And I just, that's one of the reasons why I think it's neat that we're doing the show about this tonight, because it does speak well of the Groomers Cut community and the Whole Pet Academy community that, that we have such a fine faculty. Thank you, Dara.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate all of you being here. So I like being behind the curtain. So
you are the wizard behind the curtain. Yes. So
she does the stuff that we don't like doing, like
all the administration,
like paperwork.
Running a school. Good God, I'd rather gouge my eyes out.
I remember when I was teaching high school and they made me a vice principal. And I went from being in the classroom all day to being in an office all day, and I did not like it at all. Okay, so I was nominated for Journalist of the Year, along with some very fine other columnists. I'm assuming it's because of Groomer to Groomer magazine, which Barkleigh publishes, is a free trade magazine. And by the way, if anybody doesn't already get it, who's a groomer, especially if you're a newer groomer and you don't know about Groomer to Groomer, that's spelled groomer with a T-O, groomer. You can go to groomer2groomer.com. It's free. Oh, did I mention it's free? And you get it every month. And it's a really, really high quality trade publication where you get tons of information.
We'll post the links for them too.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are columnists like me. I had to kind of write, I wrote more than a dozen articles, just kind of putting them in where I could for a long time before I finally got considered a columnist. But now I have a monthly column, and I get to write about what I teach in my classes for Dara, which is science, which is so cool. They have actually let me write. They gave me an X number of words and they kind of let me push that envelope. I've written more substantive articles. I cite published scientific studies. I get into really hard documented, evidence about what the dog's coat is like, and really get into skin and coat science. So
and that's exactly why you got the nomination. Your articles are well researched, they're thorough, they're interesting and relevant for our industry, and yay.
And they're new.
What?
Yes,
it's stuff. It's you talk about the nothing that's been talked about in the past.
Yeah, which is really good.
That's nice.
And the one article I wrote this last year that was not sciencey in dog science, but it was sciencey in human science, was I did an article about stress. And my husband is a stress and trauma expert. And we did this, we co-authored an article, which they published jointly, about the difference between eustress and distress and what the stress cycles are and what how trauma can affect us. And I think that was a really good article too. That was very interesting too.
So anybody go on to like Groomer to Groomer, because also a lot of those are available online.
They're all available.
The back copies, right? They're all available online.
They're all there.
You can go back and read everything.
Like all of my 20 articles, which I constantly am sending my staff to. Did you read my article on the primitive coat? Did you read my article on the difference between fur and hair? So yeah, it's they're all there. You go to the little search bar up there, but you could do that for anybody. There's a whole ton of good articles.
A lot of good stuff.
They're all available online. So if you want to,
you are in good company with those nominees too.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Do you have the list, Chrissy?
Jonathan David, Daryl Connor.
Oh my God, Daryl. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So let's get two other candidates nominees to talk about too. Angie, tell us what you're nominated for.
The hot seat.
Brian Stopa Congeniality Award.
Woo!
Congeniality.
Yay!
The Congeniality Award. That's so awesome.
Yeah. If you guys don't know Angie meets people and drags people together, and
that is the truth of it.
Yep, it sure is. It is so well deserved. So how are you feeling about it?
A little surreal.
Yeah.
But it's I know it sounds cliche. It is an honor to be nominated, but it's also like, holy cow, really? So yeah.
Raise your hand if you have imposter syndrome.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Tell me you have imposter syndrome without telling me you have imposter syndrome. Yeah. Yeah. So it's like, wait, who, me? Are you sure? Wait.
Yes.
No.
Can I ask you a question really quick?
Oh, yeah.
Just really quick. I want to keep on this. So, Angie, how did you hear about it?
I actually, a friend of mine posted it.
Oh.
And I
tagged you in it?
And tagged me.
Okay.
So I went and I was like,
really?
Wow.
And I think you said something in that post. You were like, "Oh, that's the prelims. I haven't made it to the final round yet."
Yeah, yeah. I was like, no, that's not like the thing. And she's like, "That's the thing." And I'm like, I don't think that's me. And she's like, "And who exactly would it be?" And I was like,
I don't know.
It's
let me search.
It's the spirit of the industry. You are embodying what groomers should be with each other.
Oh, you do, because the shows I've been to, you're literally like, "Oh, you haven't seen this new product? Here, come with me."
Yeah. Well, I want them to know. I want them to see all the things and touch all the things and know all the things.
Your enthusiasm is just addictive. We're all like, "Woo, what's she enthused about? I am too."
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
But you're newer on the circuit, which I think is where Chrissy was kind of going with this. Is how you've been, like, how many?
I've been grooming 34 years.
Right. But how many shows have you spoken at? You've got more.
Atlanta Pet Fair was the first one.
Atlanta Pet Fair.
Yeah.
So people are recognizing you based off of who and what you are just by attending shows.
I guess.
That's what it is. That's what this whole meaning of this award is, how you're presenting yourself at the expos. I mean, that's like huge to have that and have just this first year of speaking.
I think the fact that you've brought a whole new field and you've connected so many groomers to this rabbit grooming thing, which, rabbits are the number 3 owned pet in America. And nobody has ever said jack to me about it. I've been doing it for years based on what this one rabbit bunny person friend of mine, and I used to own one, so I sort of knew how to do the nails and comb it and stuff. But honestly, it is, you have opened doors. You've brought some excitement and quality attention to something that was sorely needed, and you've done it in a way that you've built community. You have built community.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. We needed it. I mean, there's about 6 million to 9 million rabbits in the US, and they're not being served.
And the guinea pigs.
And the guinea pigs and the ferrets and the sugar
ferrets
gliders, and they're not being served. And as groomers, we need to fill that gap because these people are desperate and we need to help them. So,
and we can't treat them like dogs.
No.
Or cat.
Nothing like it.
No, they're very different. They're a prey animal. They're nothing like cats or dogs.
They're a prey animal, and we're used to grooming baby predators. We're used to grooming predators, and how you approach a predator has got to be very different with how you approach prey.
A bunny.
Yes, very different. Like night and day.
Yeah. Well, for those, I don't know, I think Chrissy knows, but Angie now has a master groomer rabbit program at the school.
Yay!
And she's doing the hands-on portion for our felines also.
Yes.
Excellent.
I love it.
So,
it's so much goodness.
We've got,
and
that just got approved earlier, just last month. The end of, right around the bit of August. Yep.
Nice.
So we got the approval back from the state. So that was huge to have that in conjunction with your book coming out.
Yes.
I am excited about the book. And then you and I have to talk about, because I'm still writing my 15 co-types book, and I need guidance from the master.
I will give you any help you need. It's initially like overwhelming, but then once you kind of hit the okay, it's done. Now what? Scary at first, but then it all just, it's like the jigsaw starts coming together and it's like magic. It's amazing.
So give us the title and details that you have right now so that any listeners can
rabbit book. A book for professional rabbit groomers and bunny owners.
Good.
So
how long did it take you to write it?
Almost a year.
Almost a year.
And what do you do about pictures or photographs or diagrams?
I took them.
Okay. Yeah, that's what you kind of have to do. You have to do your own stuff. Yeah.
And I had 2 different small mammal veterinarians review the book cover to cover. Dr. Matthew Ford, owner of Scarborough Animal Hospital in Scarborough, Maine, wrote the foreword for me. He is rabbit specialty and rabbit surgical specialty. And
in Scarborough, what vet clinic is he at?
Scarborough, Maine, Scarborough Animal Clinic.
Okay, that's where we really
and that's what he does. He does
fantastic there.
Bunnies, and he does all the intricate rabbit search because rabbits are blown glass with fur. And
that's a good analogy. I like that. Blown glass with fur. Yeah.
Yeah. Rabbit surgery is so scary because they're so sensitive. One slip and the bunny's not going to make it. He does those, like the scary surgery no one else wants to do. That's the guy. So he reviewed the book and went through the whole thing. And he was like, yes, we need this book for owners and groomers and everyone should read this.
Yay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. When is the book going to be available?
Should be out in October. I'm praying for Groom Expo, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to make it. I might not, but it's going to be really close.
You could put up some graphics at a booth.
Going to say you should
take orders.
Take orders at Groom Expo.
I would strongly recommend you do that. Like make a poster with a graphic of the cover and just sit down with a chair and this, or make a little like sandwich board thing on that you can put on a tabletop and just take orders.
Can you do it in your class?
No, you're not allowed to sell in your classes
no self-promotion. It's like right there in the thing.
Yeah.
No, but you can tell people where you will find them. And Dara,
Can
are
I
you
tell
doing?
them I actually wrote a book? Is that allowed?
Yes, you can put it as part of introducing yourself, that that's your credential. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And then
Sure.
you can also tell people where to find you, both online and at the show. You should, if you have a Facebook group, or if you have have you started a rabbit grooming Facebook group?
I have. It's called the Professional Rabbit Groomers.
So tell them about that. Tell them where to find you with that. And and Dara, are you going to have a booth with Evolution for the school or anything like that?
Or at Hershey?
Yeah.
No, I won't be there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So and it's with Mindy and Crit there's not a lot of space in the booths at Hershey.
So I partner with
Luke.
You
just make friends with somebody. Yeah. Oh, definitely take it to Dallas.
We can definitely get some if you have it in time. But that's the beginning of the month, so it might not be ready.
I
and that's okay. It's not something.
Do you know anybody that like works with, like, do you know Nick who works with Whitman's, or do you know? I'm
the brand ambassador for
Tommy.
all.
Well, then ask them. They should let you. Yeah, there you go.
100% Tommy will let you.
Yeah. And
in fact, he'll probably be upset that he didn't think of it already and have it.
Yeah.
Well, he's probably already thinking about it, just that Angie doesn't know that.
That's very
true.
Look, we have
That's
space
likely.
for it right here.
That is also likely.
Yeah, so just make a slide in your presentation where people can find you, how they can find you. I'll be at this booth, Tommy's booth, and then I will also be, in this Facebook group, and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know you were a brand ambassador.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yep. I'm a big fan of the All for Groomers products.
Okay.
And I like
the Drake Saver and the Groomers Wall.
I love the Groomers Wall. Mm-hmm. I believe in both of them. And I was doing little videos on how cool the products were. And Tommy's like, why are you not our brand ambassador? And Emily's like, that's a very good question. And I was like, I didn't know that was a thing.
Ta-da, next thing you know. All right, so now let's ask Chris what she was nominated for, because she's got two of them. Extra awesome.
I was nominated for a podcast vlog or blog of the year with the Traveling Groomers podcast.
Which is you and Mary
Oquendo, yes. Right. And I was okay, like, I don't want to make this sound like I wasn't excited that the Traveling Groomers got nominated, because I'm very excited, but we were halfway expecting, somewhere between, like, hoping but pretty sure we were going to get nominated, right? So we were like, yeah, we're getting nominated for this. So when Mindy called me, who was another pet pro educator, Mindy calls me and she's like, congratulations on your nomination. I'm like, oh, thanks. Oh, it came out today. I didn't see the Traveling Groomers did get nominated. Okay, great. Awesome. This is our year. The Groom Pod got it last year and they've been at it longer. So we didn't. And she's like, no, your other nomination. And I went, what? Wait, what now?
What other nomination?
I said, what else could I possibly be nominated for? And I'm up for Speaker of the Year.
Wow.
And I about fell over.
That's probably the biggest award of them all.
Yeah. And I pulled up the other nominations, and of course they're gone. But I saw that, and I saw who else was nominated, and I went, oh, I get it now. I get the phrase, it's an honor to be nominated, because it can sometimes sound like, oh, you're just being nice. Like, it sounds like the polite thing you're supposed to say, but like you look at the other people there, and why is this not showing up now? But
Why don't you have it memorized?
I don't know.
You must have looked at it more than once.
I've
just
looked at it
saying.
more than once. So yes, seminar
It'd be
speaker of the
burned in
year.
my mind.
I'm included in the same category with Jay Scruggs and Sue Zecco, Kelsley Ann Sexton, and Melissa Jepson. And I'm like,
right?
I'm cool. I mean, yeah, I'd like to win, but I'm just kind of cool being on the same breath as these people.
Yeah, me too.
Congratulations.
So
I forgot to mention my other nominee was Blake Hernandez. So Blake Hernandez, Daryl Connor, and Jonathan David and me for journalists. You guys, I mean, everybody, again, just to be it really is. Yeah. And the cool thing is they actually do send you a nice little like plaque sign thing for being nominated.
You can see in Chris's background.
You can see from Chris in the background there. She's got 2 already.
I've got 2 for the Traveling Groomers podcast. Yeah. I cannot wait to add the 2 from this year. At some point, I'm just going to have like a wall. That's the goal. That's the goal. I'm not being haughty. I am putting my aspirations out into the universe.
Absolutely.
And if you don't do that, you're not working towards anything. So you have to.
Yeah. No, I'm so excited and shocked because somebody said, "Oh, I'm putting you down for Speaker of the Year." I'm like, "Oh, well, that's sweet of you." Like one person likes me. And then I'm like, what?
Well, and you teach a variety of classes. Tell us which classes you've been teaching, because that's part of why you got Speaker of the Year. You have some really nice variety. Tell us what
you mean recently, or just go down a long list? Because I can't, my brain is scrambled.
How about in the last year? Yeah. What have you taught in the last year?
In the last year, I have taught my ergonomics class. I've taught everything shears, which is not about physically scissoring, because there are so many talented people who speak on that topic. This is about our actual piece of equipment and to be more knowledgeable about one of our favorite tools. I have taught bereavement and the pet professional, or pet professionals in loss. I taught a brand new class on anxiety and customer relations that I enjoyed, and I need to tweak because I want to give that one again. I've taught on thank you. I've taught delighting the doodle owner this past year. And that's another class that I've seen other people teach, but you can't take it enough. Like, I'm not going to say, "Oh, I teach that class. You shouldn't go see someone else." Because no. Go see every doodle class, all of them, because the coats are so different. The clients are so different. The types of styles are so different. Take all of them.
Well, and we should have multiple people teaching the same kind of content anyway, because I remember for a long time it was like, "Oh, this is the poodle person," but what if we hear from more poodle people? And more variety is excellent.
Well, and I think as the industry is growing, that's less and less a problem. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like I've taught a burnout class, and I see other burnout classes out there, and that's excellent. Customer service classes. I'm sure I'm missing a couple, because they kind of are like, what is happening in my head? There's been a lot of trade shows this year, and the schedule still hasn't righted itself from the pandemic shutdown.
Yeah.
So we've had a lot of shows that are like kind of on top of each other.
Yeah.
Chris is actually using a doodle that comes to our salon.
Ooh.
His name is Sir Winslow, when she does the doodle class here in New England. His mom is very excited.
Oh, excellent.
Chris, use him as a demo dog in the class. She can't wait.
Oh, I'm very excited. Oh, and I did a drop coat class, demo class at the Tacoma show and where
So
I had a
neat.
Shih Tzu.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
yeah, there's a variety. I guess I do teach a lot.
Well,
I
you're
guess.
at just about every show. And if you teach at least once at just about every show, and you teach like such a wide variety of things, I mean, I'm just thrilled for you. It's so well deserved.
I
And
just
I had your classes, Chris, and you're relaxed. You are friendly. You work the room. You're easy. You're very natural at talking to people, and especially when you're communicating very technical information about shears and things like that. That's the class of yours that I took.
okay.
And it was just wonderful. I mean, it was new and important information that was communicated in a very safe and very inspiring way. And I think not everybody, there's a lot of great groomers out there, but there's not everybody that can be a fantastic groomer can also be a really great communicator.
Yes, but I want to, I firmly think, as I stutter and say, I firmly think that you can learn to be a good communicator. And that is a learned skill. And the problem is, if you have that little bit of stage fright, if you have that little bit of, I don't like talking in front of people, you're not going to do it. So you're not going to get better at it.
Yeah.
But
Well,
it is
and if you get into your own head thinking, "Oh, I hate that. That's scary." You don't
exactly.
have you're not going to build the desire to share your knowledge, but you should share it. Because there's somebody out there who wants to know what you're going to teach.
And you never know what tips people are going to pick up from your classes. Like, I was at the Idaho Falls show, and I forget what class this happened in, but I had like an emotional moment, and I have both glasses and I was wearing eye makeup, and I said, wait, this is the tip. Okay, if you're about to cry, but it's not quite ready to fall yet, but you got the big fat tears, you do this and you lean over and you just blink. Like, you got to lean over and blink, and you get the
Maybe
fat
you don't
drops.
the makeup.
All right. And it just falls, and you don't work your makeup, and you pull yourself together.
Genius.
So because I do teach a fair amount of classes regarding like mental health, like burnout and anxiety and that type of thing. So I get, but
so one of my takeaways from one of Chris's classes was she was talking about burnout and anxiety, and she's like, "Do you need me to write you a note that you can take time off? I'm writing you a note." And she's like, I will literally write you a note. Sheila deserves time off. She needs some space.
But somebody came to me like the next day after that class, and she was competing for the first time, and she's like, I used your tip. And I'm like, oh, what fantastic grooming thing. She's like, I was so anxious, and I just did the tilt and blink, and I was fine. I'm like,
oh, that's
all
the
right.
tip.
You know what? Of all of the things, that was the one. But hey,
but she took something away from your class.
You learned something, and you didn't mess up your eye makeup. And that is vital.
I think it's a win for everybody.
100%. I was just like, I'm still happy.
Yeah,
that's funny. So I got a question, Chris. What got you into those topics with the anxiety and the burnout? How? Because that's not like a common.
Everyday
topic. It's a common occurrence with people, but how do you go? I'm going to speak on that.
Yeah.
You know what? Each class, there was something like, I forget what it was for the burnout class. For the anxiety class, it was someone else was supposed to be giving it, and they couldn't make it. And Gabrielle said, hey, anybody want to teach this anxiety class? And I'm like, that's right up my alley. I'll teach that. And then immediately had massive anxiety. Like, what did I do?
Surprise.
I can't remember what specifically got me on the burnout class, I want to say for that one, it was just realizing that when people leave grooming, and I've worked with corporate like a few times. I've worked for both of the big box stores. And I noticed that when people left, they didn't just leave the Co or the Smart. They left grooming.
Mm-hmm.
They just left. And just from talking to so many people at the shows, I'm like, we have a really high burnout rate because it's an emotional job and there's an emotional connection. And yes, it's a physical job. That's how I got into, teaching the ergonomics class with my work with Evolution Shears. But we talk about it like, yeah, I'm burnt out and stuff, but we don't talk about it on a professional level and acknowledge it as much.
Well, and burnout is part of why I started talking about the behavior aspect, because frankly,
Yes.
what groomers burn out over is trying to wrestle dogs into trims.
Yeah.
And trying to communicate to customers that this is an unfair thing to do. And, we burn out. I remember when I started grooming, it was considered like, if you make it 7 years, you're probably a lifer.
Mm.
That was the washout rate when I started in the early 90s, and that was kind of like, hey, you made it 7 years. You're probably in this for life now. But it was such a burnout rate.
But I'm glad more people are talking about it. I mean, and Melissa Jepson, one of my co-nominees, is doing a whole mental health day at Hershey. And I'm just thrilled that I see something about anxiety or burnout or customer relations or communications at every show now, that there's something. Self-care is huge.
Yeah.
And
gone are the days where it's just about haircuts.
Yeah. And Dara, you have had Barkleigh Honors nominees on your faculty from previous years' nominations, like Melissa Conti-Diener, didn't she? Was it last year?
Oh, she
was nominee last year.
Yeah.
She's on our faculty.
Up and coming speaker.
Just like I had it from 2 years earlier than that. And so you've had others. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else on our faculty that has been also honors nominated in the past. But anyway, it's
what's beautiful about it is it's a peer nominated and peer voted on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like Groomer to Groomer is that free magazine, but they go into their email lists and they go, okay, well, let's send it out to these groomers. Who do you want for this? Who do you like for this? So it's not really a popularity contest. And
I think you have to, because I haven't been to a Barkleigh show in a year. So I didn't get a nomination. So I think it's actually for people who are going and attending the shows as well, or being a part of. So I think that's
online or otherwise.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about what classes you guys are teaching at Hershey and what classes you teach for Whole Pet. Ooh, I know. I'm gonna. Tara's like, time for a drink.
I'll start. I teach them the canine science program for Whole Pet, and that is a lot of science. It's all published studies, research studies. It's all about the dog, and it's evolutionary history. It's all these new discoveries we've made about how they read our face muscles and how we are co-evolved in very specific ways, and what parts of our brains fire off when we, both hear each other's voices. And there's just so much stuff that actually does affect our ability to work with and relate to animals, plus really appreciate them more and understand them more. So it's a lot of history and evolution of dogs with a lot of modern scientific discoveries. That's what I teach. And what was the other question that you asked? It was
what
about,
are you teaching at Hershey this year?
At Hershey, I'm really excited about this. I had done my famous 15 coat types thing, which I'm really excited to see more and more is, it's not about me. It's about the industry finally trying to come to some sort of standardization of terms, and this is different from this in this way. This breed needs this kind of grooming, and this breed needs this kind of grooming, and these coat types need different things in different ways with products and tools and techniques that are different for that coat type. It's something that I knew all along as a dog show person. And when I started, more full-time in the grooming industry, was kind of, as a school teacher, sort of shocked at the fact that there's not commonly understood terminology. There's not
Is that
widely.
the class you're teaching at Hershey?
I am teaching my 15 coat types, but I had taught it years ago at Hershey, back when it was like 12 coat types, because the whole point of it is that it's been an industry-wide conversation for years.
Yeah.
It isn't just me. I have interviewed AKC judges, breeders, teachers, master groomers. I have talked to everybody that will talk to me, which is a lot of people. I've talked to geneticists. I've talked to college professors who are geneticists. I've talked to people who do DNA for dog studies. I've talked to tons of groomers, and I ask people all the time, like, what do you think this is? And what would you call it? So the list grew. It went from 9. Well, it actually started with 7 coat types that was published by Carla Addington Smith 35 years ago. And she was the first groomer to ever publish a list of coat types. Then it went to 9, then to 12, then to 14, then to 15, then back to 14, then back to 15, because there was this question about whether or not wire coats are both rough and broken are 2 different categories, or
Is
whether
it still an all-day certification class that
so
you're doing at Hershey?
that's the cool thing this time. Instead of being a 2-hour thing, which is very rushed, it's a 4-hour day-long certificate class.
Yay!
Super exciting.
Yeah. So that will be all day
awesome.
Friday. I'm really glad that they're giving it certificate class level, because groomers do need, are incentivized. Groomers are incentivized to attend educational classes when they can get that simple piece of paper for their wall that says they did it, because there aren't any really easily obtainable credentials in our industry other than to get certified, which involves years of working in hands-on testing.
Or taking classes at Whole Pet Grooming Academy.
Or take right.
Sorry. Like, what do you mean? Sorry, you teach one.
That was exactly the point I was going to finish with.
Thank you, Chrissy.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
But yeah, it definitely, it's really, I think your 4-hour class, I've taken it when it was 2. And I was like, she needs more time for us to absorb this information in this class setting. So I'm super excited that they gave you the 4. Awesome.
And it's really a great class for for everybody, but certainly for people that are newer to grooming. It is it's super helpful as to why it gives you the why you do these things differently on these different types of coats.
Yeah. So Chris, what are you teaching at Hershey, and what do you teach at Whole Pet?
I'm not playing on my phone. I had to look up things so that I did not misspeak. At Hershey, I am teaching how to provide great customer service without being a doormat.
Oh, good.
Nice.
Because I think there's got to be a happy medium between that's it, I'm canceling all your appointments, you're off my books, and having people walk all over you, because that is not acceptable. But there's a middle road, and anyway,
great.
For the Whole Pet Academy, I teach an informed professional, which is it's like a 7-hour class.
It's
Dara,
7 hours. It's pretty much encompasses everything you practically speak on. Ergonomics, shear anatomy.
I talk about a lot of things. It's for someone getting into the industry and you want to be an informed professional. It's like bloom. Now they will teach you to physically
one
groom.
of our required courses. So all graduates in our hands-on programs are enrolled in it.
That's awesome.
But it's a great one for people who have bathers, and it's a nice additional, and it's reasonably price to have employees take it.
For 7 hours with handouts, and there's a test.
Mhm.
And it's a
at
certificate
Great.
class.
It's a certificate class.
Everything we have is certificate or diploma.
Yep.
Yeah.
There is
State
pet
and
industry. There is pet industry practices, which I have to get to. It will be available soon.
And it is a semi-required course in our level 100 bather portion.
No
And
pressure.
then I keep cracking
No,
the whip
no
because
pressure.
Chris and I are working on a class. So I
Oh,
keep
that's
cracking the whip.
And
Mm.
we have a meeting right after this to discuss. And it's, what is that, Chrissy? Running a house call business?
Yeah.
I don't know if we've come up with a title for it, but yeah, starting a house call
Okay.
business.
We
Being
got a
house
title.
call groomer.
That's all been submitted in. We can't
Yeah.
talk.
Oh, okay.
Okay, good.
So
So
what
there
is
is a
it?
title.
There is a title. What?
Oh gosh. All right, hold on.
House call
you
grooming.
keep talking, I'll go get it.
I think it's
Uh-huh.
probably house call grooming. But yes, that's coming up.
That
That's
is coming up
at the
very
school.
soon because
And we've had inquiries on it.
because I have an accountability partner on that
You
one.
do have an accountability partner who's just going
So-
to keep coming up with more information.
She's
You're
just
getting
going to
left
be
behind.
like, come on, we're meeting. We got an outline. I'm like, okay.
I just added 10 new courses and programs last month.
Wow.
Is that all?
Is what?
Amazing.
Is that all?
Growing
all?
by leaps and
So
bounds.
here's I put in, because my renewal comes up and we have a window of opportunity to submit in new courses when we have our renewals and programs. So I kind of try to get it all done in one lump, and adding it, there's always fees. But when we did all of these, it was Chris was coming on, Dave Campanella's come on. So we have 4 2-hour courses that Dave teaches. And Bobby was added. She does the brachiocephalic breeds. So we added the house call. Mindy Dinwiddie has a 5-part series of scissoring success, hand stripping, and Asian fusion.
Awesome.
And then Angie's rabbit courses. We've got 4 of those. And hold on.
And Michelle's.
Michelle has, we've got the geriatrics.
Mhm.
She added a geriatric class, and she's added some continuing education for her pet esthetician and the master pet estheticians.
Oh, that's great.
So she's got some new classes for her students who have already graduated. I'm sorry, I'm looking for the house call. I can't remember where I put it.
Yeah.
That's I gotta find safety. I think it's in business. That's why I put it in business. Yes. So we've got we added managing off-leash and cage-free interactions in your space, which is a 30-hour course, and running a house call business. Yeah, and that is Chrissy and Chris.
Woohoo.
So yeah.
So
Lots of
Angie,
courses.
what are you teaching at Hershey? And what are you teaching at the school?
Okay, so at Hershey, I'm teaching, it's a 1 hour. It's like a dip your toe in the water kind of thing. Introduction to rabbits. And it just covers the very basic, because an hour is nowhere near enough.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
highlights. And at Whole Pet, I teach in-person, hands-on cat and rabbit grooming, 2 separate. There's 4 different classes for the cat, 4 different for the rabbit. And those are both hands-on. You have your little hot fingers right on those
Yep.
pets.
Yay!
So, yeah, so you can learn, physically learn how to handle them.
Yes, and you also have the salon sanitation, which we call
Right.
grime over slime, to not
Yes.
get it confused
I
with
love
other
that.
courses out there.
Love
And that class is like 5 hours.
Yeah.
And that
Really?
is a required course as well for all of our students.
Yeah,
And
we
you have a
need
personal
to know that.
awareness.
Yes. And
And I
that's
have
a
a lot of young women that like to take that. Parents like their
personal
daughters
safety, situational awareness, and that covers your safety in the salon, as house call, as mobile, and as a human being out in the world, because safety is something you need to do all the time. Not, and at trade shows too, there's just like a specific section just on trade shows, because you need to be situationally aware no matter where you are.
And Angie uses me as a don't do what Chris just did.
I
Example.
actually have a story specifically about, because it gives me a migraine just to think about it. It was just yeah.
And for those people listening to the show that don't know this, Angie, your former career was
Law enforcement for 11 years.
Angie was in law enforcement, friends, so she is well aware.
So she knows of what she speaks.
Yes. So
She's seen the disasters play out and wants us all to be safe.
yes.
But I like that you went from law enforcement to bunnies. That just makes me happy.
Oh, the bunnies are so much more, so much better. Bring on the bunnies. I actually, truly, if I could tomorrow groom nothing but rabbits and not feel like a total slime ball for giving up all the rest of my customers that I've groomed for them for over 30 years now, I totally would. I would do it in a heartbeat. I would.
We won't let them see this to know that, because then they'll all go somewhere else and be like, oh,
Find one of your students.
I can't.
There is no danger.
You can do it gradually. You can do
but
it gradually.
if I could actually let go of them, which I can't, and they know that, because
dogs don't live forever, so you can let go of them and one or two at a time. I
haven't been taking a new dog in over 3 years now.
And when your former client who you groomed their dog for 14 years and then it passed and they call you a year later with a new puppy, you say,
I'm
only doing bunnies now.
Sorry, I'm going pet bunny.
Wow.
And I am not available for dog grooming anymore.
However, I have a fantastic team.
Yes. And
okay.
Service your pet if you are within these. But I have others that have come back with, I got a new Newfoundland and I said, I'm sorry, but I can give you a wonderful recommendation for some other salons and they can help you there.
Yeah. One more thing, Angie. I just want to say part of your class with the with the self-awareness, and we're talking a lot about trade shows and everything, that in that there is a course in there for trade show awareness.
Specifically about trade show safety, the things you need to be aware of that unfortunately incidents that have occurred at trade shows because people were unaware, and I'm trying to reach the population of groomers that goes to trade shows that is in these situations. And I swear to you, I am going to have business card size things printed that say specifically, please don't leave your purse on the floor. And I'm going to put it in a business card. And underneath it, it's going to say, because I could have stolen it. I swear to you, I've been saying I've been going to do this for years. I have to actually get them printed. I think I'm going to have them printed up for Groom Expo, because
little cards that say, you got lucky, this was unsafe.
I
could have stolen them.
Well, and you don't know how many times during a show it happens, like at least twice a show, every show. Somebody comes back to the booth frantically. Did I leave my purse here? Did I leave my phone here? Did I leave this bag here? I can't find it now.
Yeah, and it's going to be so crowded this year. People need to be really careful.
There's an entire section in that personal safety course just on trade shows.
Mhm.
And
So
it's
before you go to Hershey, there's still time. WholePetNH.com.
And
Trade show.
Chrissy Newmeyer Smith, you are also speaking at Hershey, my
Yes.
dear.
I am.
What are you teaching at the Groom Expo?
I am teaching a class about understanding fear, frustration, and stress in dogs,
Excellent.
so that you can have a better understanding that the dog isn't trying to give you a hard time. The dog is having a hard time, and why. And I am also teaching about having a safety policy so that you can prevent a lot of these problems while you're at work. And the safety policy is talking about behavior. So, and at the school, I teach the Master Groomer Behavior Specialist program.
Yes. Which
And
is
hopefully house call.
amazing logo.
But yeah, the
Yeah,
Master
and-
Groomer Behavior Specialist program.
Chrissy's getting ready another program as well in that too. So for those that
Yeah,
more of a, I'll let you tell
if
them.
people wanted a smaller overview, the behavior certification, behavior and safety certification.
Yeah.
So that one's lots of fun stuff. And I didn't get my podcast nominated, even though I'm pretty sure I have more downloads than the Traveling Groomers.
Next year.
Right?
Next year.
Yeah. But I
Your
have a great and great
podcast
Grooming Dogs podcast.
is amazing.
Yes.
Your podcast,
Your
I
podcast
listened
is
to it
fantastic.
when I was driving cross country. Your podcast is amazing.
Your podcast is amazing, but I think you get more downloads from pet owners, which is what we want. No, it's all
No.
groomers.
She is
Groomers, yeah.
Oh no.
heavy
I
groomer
I
centric.
know.
Really, guys. Guys, next year we need to be on the ballot.
Now we know.
So,
Christy,
But-
are you nominating Chrissy Newmeyer Smith for next year's Barkleigh
Yes.
Honors?
Well, I think
Yes.
it's because I don't do an
Yeah.
interview show. There aren't as many people interested or remembering that, like, oh wait, I heard about so and so, because it's not an interview show. It's strictly about where grooming and training meet. So it's
Chrissy,
it's teachy
maybe-
and learny.
how about you
No,
and
it's not.
I do an interview? Let me interview you on your
Oh.
podcast
Yes.
And
so that your followers, they know you, but
And actually, I would love to be interviewed on your podcast because I can take you problem as a groomer. I can go, okay, Chrissy, this is what happened. Help.
Well, see, the thing is, I don't run an interview podcast,
Mhm.
but I have recently switched my podcast. Many people have said that they have trouble with audio only. I'm actually now doing them as YouTube talking head videos. And so now that I'm on YouTube also with Creating Great Grooming Dogs, there will probably be a bunch of times where I can do some interviews and stuff.
That's great.
you know, it'd be
That's right.
really cool. Just saying, for those of us that have a 7-hour drive to Hershey, if you like tanked up, I'm caught up. I don't know.
Oh, no.
I recorded 2 episodes today.
Okay, so that gives me 2 hours.
I'm only about 300 hours away from getting those finished.
Yeah. There'll be at least
Yeah.
one more Traveling Groomers podcast by the
Mhm.
time you have to drive to Hershey.
There you go.
Yay.
So it's 3
I love-
hours.
I was a guest on your wonderful Traveling Groomers podcast this last year, and you guys allowed me to get into my other work with victim advocacy and stuff, and that is, you guys are amazing. You truly do a nomination worthy, award-winning worthy podcast.
Yes. It is
We
an
digress a
excellent
lot.
podcast.
Thank you.
That was really
I love that podcast.
That was a good
so it is so deserved.
Every time I edit, I go,
Yes.
"Oh, that was a good episode.
Yeah.
Good people.
Because it was.
Well, I hope everybody has a great Labor Day holiday, and I
Yes.
hope that we see a lot of our listeners in Hershey at Groom Expo.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Come find us.
I can be very easily found. I will be at the Evolution Shears booth 90% of the time.
And
Oh,
I
yeah.
will be,
Groomers booth,
you'll be-
90%.
Angie, say again, where are you going to be?
All for Groomers booth, 90% of
All
the
4 groomers.
Where she will be ready and set up with her square to take pre-orders for her book,
Rabbit book.
for her
what I'm gonna
rabbit
do.
book.
I will be at the TheraClean booth, which is the microbubble company,
Yeah.
with my
Oh.
posters, my 15 co-types posters. And Chrissy, where will you be?
I will be roaming around everywhere.
Okay.
And hopefully showing Kirsten around her first grooming trade show.
Yes. Did you see our interview with Kirsten? She was.
Did you guys
She
see
was
that
amazing.
interview?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
So.
but I will be roaming around an awful lot and meeting people and having fun.
Yeah.
All right. Congratulations, you guys.
Yes.
Super,
Thank you, ladies,
super
for coming
awesome.
on.
So deserved.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah, for gathering such a great group.
Thank you. Thank you.
Dara.
I could not be where I am without you guys. So it is a
Maybe
win-win.
next year the Groomers Cut will be nominated too.
Well deserved.
It's now as an RSS feed.
Mhm.
I put it in an RSS feed. It's available as podcasts now. It is
Ooh,
also
okay.
available on YouTube, and we need to start promoting that it's in these other formats so that people don't think they can only come live.
Yeah, that's really
Yeah.
good. Thank you for doing that,
Yeah.
Chris.
Chrissy and I
There's
work
the
hard
rest of your drive.
behind the scenes on this.
Yeah, we do.
Yes. Have a great week. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.